Hello and welcome to HDFC Mutual Fund's Laxmi for Laxmi initiative, a financial empowerment program for women and by women. Here, women distributors share the unique behavior of women investors and the hurdles they overcome in their financial journeys. Join us as we empower each other in the world of mutual fund investments. Welcome to Laxmi for Laxmi by HDFC Mutual Fund. This is Larissa Fernand, and I'm delighted to be talking to Binoli Dodiwala Jain today. Binoli is the co-founder and CEO of the Money Mart, based in Mumbai, but services around 500 clients globally. Binoli, welcome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Larissa, for having me here. And I would really like to thank HDFC Mutual Fund for having a specific initiative for women. This topic is very close to my heart, and I'm extremely glad to be a part of this call today.
Lovely. So, Binoli, I want to start off by what you call yourself a Chief Emotions Officer, not a Chief Executive Officer. So, can you explain that to us a bit?
So, I think the basic role which a financial planner or an advisor like me has is actually not, helping clients make maximum returns, but actually just understanding and taming their emotions so that they can take the right call for themselves at the right time. So it's just, when you basically try to understand what the client wants and try to be there with the client in all phases of their life, I think the job is done. So that's what my role is.
Yeah, I think people underestimate the role of the emotions that they bring to the table when it comes to money. Money is a very emotional subject.
Right, right.
Do you find any difference in the way men or women react emotionally to money?
Oh, I feel there are a lot of differences in the way men and women react. Okay. So let me tell you why these differences are there also. So if you actually just see, okay, how men and women deal with their day-to-day lives, okay, what is a woman's core job? Okay, if you ask any woman, it would be, taking care of the family, cooking for the family, taking care of children, taking care of parents. Money is not coming even in the top 3 to 4 priorities. But if you ask a man, what is your core job? It would be going to office and earning money for the family. Okay. So when we have set these boundaries against us, okay. So for a woman, what happens? The core job is taking care of the house. For a man, the core job is getting money home for the family. And because of this, the way they look at finances and money is totally different. And because of this difference, overall, the way they react to money and the investment choices is also very, very different. So to give you an example, if I generally talk to a male client, and specifically in a market like this, when market is at all-time high, the chief idea which everybody has is, am I making the maximum returns? My friend made 50% return, 70% return in the last 1 year. How much is my return? I don't have any women client who's come up with me with this question that, I am here to beat my friend's return. They are all here to just see, okay, are things going, the way it is planned? Am I not taking undue risk? Is my goal of my, child's education or providing for some emergency corpus for my child or my wealth creation taken care of? So the main objective is only very, very different.
Men are much more competitive, right?
Extremely, extremely.
How do the men in the family react? Most of your clients are men. How do they view the women when it comes to finances? Do they want to encourage them? Do they prefer keeping them at an arm's length?
So there are actually 2 category of men, which I have discovered over these years. Okay. The first category of, these clients as such who really want their wives to be involved. Okay. But the problem is that are the women wanting to be involved? Okay, that's also a very big problem. So I'll give you an example of, say, probably my own house. Okay, my mother has never been a part of major financial decisions. Okay, though she has been a homemaker and she's been managing the house extremely well over these years. Okay, I keep telling her that, mom, I am there, papa is there, but you need to do this, you need to do this. Okay, but because it's not done all these years, it's very difficult to get into it right now. So in families like this, or like, my own house, it's very difficult to have that financial inclusion because the women don't want to be included. Or few of my clients, where they are very young. Okay, I would rather not clients, I would say friends, and I keep encouraging them, that your father is doing this for you or your spouse is doing it for you, but at least take interest, go for joint meetings. But even that initiative is not coming. So even though the spouse wants them to be a part or the father wants them to be a part, you don't want to do it because somebody else is doing that for you. Because for you, your other priorities, which we spoke about, are more important, like taking care of the house and your children and a lot of other things. So, that's one kind of, people that I have come across. And then there is the other kind, because, times are changing. So it's not like how it was, 20 years back, where, women were not a part of finance. In fact, our own finance minister is a woman. So that's a great thing to look forward to. So now we also have people, where we have, and this is specifically in younger couples, that, the husband and wife come together for a meeting, they sit across together, they talk about the financial goals together and plan the expenses. So things are changing.
So what advice would you give a young girl who's going to get married, whether she's a professional or not a professional?
So I think the first advice when you're getting married is that, you should not lose your individuality. Okay. So if you are a professional, I think it's extremely important to encourage your spouse to, basically have you included in the household finances and the investment decisions which are made for the house. Because still you're single. Okay, it's always, what I want to go for this holiday, I want to spend so much for myself, I want to spend for my family, or for anything. But once you're married, the I becomes we want to buy a house, we want to buy this car, we want to, maybe renovate the house. Okay, so there are a lot of goals which are we, so you need to be included into those roles. Secondly, I would really advise people, to have a joint bank account, specifically if you're, if both the spouses are working. Now, how this helps, okay? Because, see, these two individuals are getting married, but they're very different individuals by nature. So one may be somebody who would be, wanting to spend, would love to splurge and would like these holidays and, expensive things to buy. And the other one may be a saver, okay, by nature, okay? And then there are conflicts, because one person thinks you're spending everything when I want to save. So if you have a joint bank account where both these individuals contribute for their expenses, okay, it could be your EMIs, your household expenses, and the proportion may be different. But if both of these people are contributing into this account, then whatever is left can be saved. So this is, I think, a great arrangement where you get to do what you want, but also ensuring that, the household needs are taken care of.
So my next question is kind of long. So someone on Twitter recently posted how he and his wife don't know each other's salaries. And they're completely okay with that because they have a joint account where they put money in. Mm-hmm. So a counselor was telling me that he had a couple who came to him, and the guy said that the women never told him how much of debt she had. And he was really a good guy. So he said, I'm in this marriage together to make it work. So we're going to figure out how to make it work. But we need emotional counseling because there's definitely a trust issue. So talk to me about this transparency. Should couples be very transparent? Is it okay if sometimes you're not, if you get a monetary gift and you don't want your spouse to know?
So I think, what is a marriage? Okay, it's a marriage is not just a union of two people. It's a union of souls. So when we just talk about the institution of marriage, the most important thing which we're talking about there is trust. So in fact, we tell our clients that you need to be extremely transparent with us also as advisors. So definitely with the spouses, you need to be. Because, in a case like that, okay, and as you rightly said, okay, that there was a debt which he was not aware of, right? These kind of things can come at any point of time. So, how do you then plan your other future goals if you don't have a list only of your assets and liabilities, and you don't know your family net worth altogether? So, I totally advise complete transparency. And there have been, you gave an example. There are many such examples which I have. So I have a relative who lost her husband when she was, say, in her 30s. She had two sons. Okay, both were studying. The day and she lost her husband due to a sudden heart attack. Now, the day this incident happened, a lot of people, came to her that, he had taken money from us as a debt, and these people were relatives. Okay. Now, with that, she was in such a emotional state. Plus, she did not have any idea only about his assets and liabilities. Okay, and one of her son, who was the older one, had to leave his education. He had to start working only to service this debt. Okay, so you're paying the debt, plus you're not sure whether this debt was actually taken, because India has a big parallel economy. It's not that everything is there in black and white into your balance sheet. Okay, so you also give money on cash to people, so all these things also happen in our country. So I think extreme transparency is very much needed.
I have a friend who took absolutely no interest in the finances, and then her marriage blew up. And that's when she started taking an interest, and she wrote about it publicly, how she began to take an interest in investing after it happened. But she said something that really impacted me. She said the emotional turmoil she went through after the divorce, she's saying to then grapple with finances is very difficult. So, isn't that wise for women at the start itself to be very on board with money?
Totally. So, to give you a personal example, I have also gone through a divorce and I am remarried. Okay. And being from this industry, I went through a turmoil. Okay. And I had people coming to me with financial advice that what should I do with my money, my career, when I am actually at the other side of the table giving this advice to people. So if something like this can happen to somebody like me, okay, it can happen to a lot of other women. So I don't think there is any second doubt also on this, but I don't think finance can be ignored by anybody.
Is there any family amongst your clients, amongst your friend circle, where the women is taking the lead in finances and the guy is completely comfortable with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have few examples like that. So I have this client where so it happened like this, that when this couple came to me, okay, they realized that they had messed up with their finances. Okay, all their investments were into insurance policies or real estate. Everything was either low return or extremely illiquid products. Okay, and all thanks to initiatives like this, okay, more and more women are getting educated. So this woman had attended one of my session earlier, and she realized that everything that her husband has done till now was a blunder. Okay, and they have two children, both studying in international schools, both want to go abroad to study. All these ends will not be met. So she encouraged him to come to our office, and we kind of tried to understand what was wrong. He was convinced, and then that day he said, from now onwards she makes all the financial decisions, not me, because she helped me open up my eye. So we are having these kind of examples where women are taking that initiative. And yes, of course, even for my own family, I take all the initiatives, all the financial decisions. So again, going back to the my family's example, we had lost a lot of money in the Harshad Mehta scam. Okay, when I talk about my father, when we were dealing in shares. So after that, he was very wary of investing into stocks for many, many years. And that happens with anybody who's had a bad experience. And then when I got into this industry and I started telling him, that it's not so bad, maybe we can just relook at it and start the correct way again. And of course, it's been many years. It's been almost 20 years I'm in this industry, but now none of the financial decisions in my complete family are taken without asking me. So yes, times are changing.
Binoli, going by what you say, would it be safe to say that it best work when the couple looks at it as a team? It's teamwork,
It is
not
team.
your money, my money. It's teamwork,
Has to be teamwork,
right?
because it's actually not financial planning, it's life planning. How can you not have a teamwork when your goals are together, right? One person
Yeah.
cannot say you want to buy a house and the other person says I don't want to buy. Okay, one of you cannot take a decision of your child's education. So when all your goals are only teamwork, then a financial plan has to be teamwork.
Yeah, correct. What are the insecurities or mind blocks you feel women have when it comes to managing their money?
So I think a lot of insecurities come from the objective. When I go back to the first discussion that we have, of women feeling that this is not my core job. Okay.
Yeah.
So just because the women feel that okay, this is not my core job, because of that, I may not take keen interest in educating myself. And so there is lack of knowledge. See, because knowledge is available everywhere. It's not that, the women are underprivileged and they don't have access to knowledge. Knowledge is available everywhere, but they don't try to get that knowledge. Okay. Secondly, they are very scared that what if, I take this step and I go wrong, I will be answerable. So I don't want to be answerable for something which supposedly is not my core expertise and also which is not expected out of me. So it is, this is the core belief, I think, that what if I do this and I am wrong? And so before doing, I will take advice from 2, 3, 4 people, and with this assumption that these people I'm taking advice from are better educated than me.
That's a big assumption.
That is a big assumption. So I have this friend who lost her husband 4 years back through cancer. She's married with 2 children. And she's educated. She's studied economics and all. She understands how the economy works and all. Till this time, her husband was taking care of the finances and they were going quite okay. Now, suddenly, she had to take this in her hand. And she started investing through us into mutual funds and starting doing SIPs. And father-in-law comes to know that, this is what is happening. And he puts a hold to it. That, have you lost it? Why are you putting your money into, mutual funds and equity? You will lose all your money. And she suddenly has to redeem all her investments and all that money again goes back to FDs. So that's not a prudent advice and not a prudent decision. But then what can you do? So that is what happens, when a woman is trying to take her, initiative, she's going on the wrong path. But a lot of the people, at home who are advising may not be the best people to advise. So to answer your question again, the biggest insecurity is only this, that, what if I make a mistake? I'm going to be answerable. And I'm already answerable for a lot of other things happening around me. So just, let this be out from my radar.
And so how do they combat it? How does one? It's very difficult to combat this, right?
It's very difficult. So that is why, we have a lot of women who invest secretly. Okay. Why is this thing there? So during COVID, why did everybody have, their mothers removing some money from under their saris or under their cupboard? This is all hidden money. Because of the secrecy, they want to keep that money secret. They don't want others to know because, they don't want to be judged on what they are doing. And also they want to kind of have some buffer for their family in case of emergency that way. So we still have women coming up to us saying that, okay, I want to make this investment, but I don't want my husband to know about it because otherwise I will be stopped. But in this day and age where everything is linked to your PAN, it's not possible. And then this money goes, to products like gold, because you can go to a jeweler, just give cash, buy gold, and nobody's going to ask you why you bought that jewelry. Because, like a woman could buy jewelry for worth, 10 lakh rupees and will not be asked. But, maybe she buys a stock or a mutual fund for 50,000 rupees and she may be asked that, why did you do this?
Correct, yeah. So society has to change, the ecosystem has to change.
It has to change. Yeah. Though it is changing, but it will take a long time.
Do you find any difference in the mindset between women? A single woman, married women, divorced women? Is one more insecure? Is one more laid back?
Yeah.
Inside?
So to give you a perspective over here, see what happens when, you have a single woman, okay? What happens when you're single rather, okay? You don't have anybody to go to for a second opinion. Okay, so let's say you have decided to invest into a product, okay? First of all, women by default, they lack a little bit of confidence because this is not what they have been doing. Now, to just get that confidence, you want to always go to somebody to take a second opinion, right? And you want this reassurance that, okay, what I'm doing is okay to go around. You don't have that person to take that second opinion from, okay? And so for a single woman, the risk-taking ability is slightly lower, okay? Also because you have this in your head that I have to keep working forever to fund myself. Kahin se wo paisa aane nahi wala hai. Okay? Once
I'm single and I completely resonate with that. Completely. So continue. Yeah.
Now, when this person gets married, okay, what happens suddenly? You have second income, okay? Secondly, you have an assurance that because of any reason, if I am not able to work, I need to take a break on my career, okay? this money is going to come to me. So automatically your risk-taking ability goes up. There is no doubt about it. Okay. What happens when somebody is divorced? Okay. Again, in fact, the risk-taking ability goes down further, because when you are divorced, you may have a child, you may not have a child. Okay. If you are divorced with a child, then you are extremely scared, because first of all, you're traumatized. And then you have this money issues to deal with. And then you don't know how are you going to, fend for yourself and your child. So the risk-taking ability comes down drastically. So at I think the person may be same, but in every stage of their life, the risk-taking ability could change. And this again, I'm telling you from personal experience, because I've gone through that stage. So when I was single, everything was hunky dory. I used to do things the way I wanted to do. Then when I got married, my risk-taking ability went through the roof. We had an EMI which we could not afford also, but kar lenge, with that attitude that two of us are there, we'll reach somewhere for sure. Then when I got separated, the risk-taking ability fell sharply, because I had a child, and I was like, okay, I need to go slow, because now protection is my first criteria. And then, wealth creation is a backseat, because what if something happens to me? How am, the thing's going to work out for my child? And then when I got remarried again, right now, the risk-taking ability is at the roof. So the person is same, but because of the various life stages we go through, the risk-taking ability keeps changing.
Yeah, if you have a safety net, it's so much more easier to look at wealth creation. If you don't have a safety net, you run towards protection.
Correct.
It's natural, right?
Correct. So yeah, that answers your question.
What financial advice did you get from the women in your family that has helped you?
Okay. So let me tell you about my mother. Okay. There are two things which my mother has always told me. Okay. And which, the first thing was that focus on skill building. Okay. And second thing was budget your time and do only productive work. So even when I was in college, okay, in my FYJC, when people are generally, chilling and roaming out with friends, okay, I used to do, classes for different things, okay, and it could be calligraphy, it could be anything, but idea was to, basically improve your skill. So she always told me that if you have skills, money will follow. So this was one core thing which she has taught me, and this is something I also try to pass on to my daughter, because in today's day and age, artificial intelligence is going to take away many jobs. Okay, but if you have more and more skills, you can do something or the other. And the second thing was always budgeting of time. That time is very precious; it's not going to come back. So how do you prioritize? And I think if these two things are in place, money will follow automatically.
Is there any particular myth about investing you would like to bust regarding women?
So the first myth, I think the biggest myth, okay, is that women are risk averse and they are not good investors. Okay. Just because I think a woman might not know what a PE ratio is, that does not mean that she is a bad investor. Because actually women are not risk averse, they are risk aware. So the way I want to say this is that they are aware that there is a risk in this product, and they are maybe just wanting to take that second step to learn and upgrade themselves. So I think being risk aware is a very positive skill. Another myth which I would like to say is that as we said, okay, that people feel that women are bad investors, but women have a lot of skills, okay, which automatically make them better investors, okay. And there is a lot of research to prove this, that women outperform men in investment returns, and they are more likely to remain calm and not make any big moves when our portfolios are going through market volatility. And that is something we have seen in markets like this, okay, like when on the election day we saw a 1 day fall in the market, okay. I didn't have any women client call me and saying, okay, that, oh my god, kya karna hai, okay. But I had a lot of clients calls from my from clients who are men. They wanted to either buy, sell, so because they are more patient, okay, they don't react that fast. And I think time and again we have seen that the person who makes maximum money is that person who does nothing, who just remains calm and patient and follows the path. So that is one, I think, quality which women have. And second thing is, that women are also used to multitasking, right? So we are doing that in our day-to-day lives anyway. And so all these basically abilities make women better investors. So it's just a myth that women are not better investors, but I really feel, and I can tell you from experience of managing, both men and women, that my women clients have definitely made more money than men.
Okay, suppose a young girl comes to you who's just started working and she tells you, Binoli, I really am not interested in investing. How would you convince her to do so?
So I think if I just can explain her that why she needs to, invest and take this in her hands, because sooner or later this will fall into her lap, whether she likes it or not, she would be convinced. So okay, so there are like couple of things which are facts. Okay, so I'm sure you must be aware that the life expectancy of men is lesser than women, and this is not only a phenomenon in India, but this is a global phenomenon. So in fact, there is a study which says that the average lifespan of women is 5 years longer than men in the US, and it's 7 years worldwide. So even if today you don't want to do this, someday in future you may have to, take care of finances, and that time it may be very, late to learn. Okay. The second reason why, women need to also start doing this is because, today we are getting a lot of money as inheritance or even life insurance proceeds. Okay. Gone are the days where life insurance cover for people was 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 50 lakh. We are giving, insurance covers for, 5 crore, 10 crore, 30 crore, and 50 crore. Imagine if you're getting that much money as a coverage, and it may not be from spouse, it can also be from your dad. You need to know what to do with this money. Okay. So the third reason is that a lot of marriages are breaking. And again, at that point of time, you need to be, in a position to take the right decision for yourself. Okay. Fourthly, that, if somebody, if she's starting to work right now, okay, there are higher chances of a woman going through breaks and sabbaticals than a man. Okay, she may need a break for childbirth or for taking care for ailing parents. Okay, so there are a lot of reasons women tend to take more breaks. So again, at that point of time, she will also have to manage something with her finances, because currently you're used to money coming to you every month, and then suddenly that money is not coming. So
Yeah.
yeah, so how do you plan your money in a way, that life goes on? And last but not the least, I think we all love shopping and splurging. So how can you do that guilt-free? So these are a couple of reasons. So this is my core job. If this is what I can explain and convince a female, I think she would, not wait for one more day and start her investing.
If I had to ask you to give a few pointers to women across the table, what would you suggest?
So I would say that, what I would say is that, it's not that you can't do it. Okay. If I can do it, I think everybody can do it. Okay. The only thing you need to do is you need to take a leap of faith. Okay. And start taking certain interest. So, whoever is managing your finances, be it your husband, father, brother, whoever, please accompany them on their review meets with their financial advisor. You may not understand everything, but you'll understand something to start on from. Okay. Secondly, encourage your family to make a will. Okay. Because when somebody makes a will, all the assets and liabilities are written down, so you automatically have access to that data. And this is anyways for the protection of the family. Okay. Thirdly, what I would like to say is, that you can start investing small. If you start small, you will take interest. See, it's always, only when you have skin in the game, you work hard to understand what is happening with your money. So you start small, have your skin in the game, and, learn in the process. But don't ever feel that, this is not my job. Like I have this client, okay? Now this client is a chartered accountant, so very well educated, from a very well-to-do family. But when I meet her, okay, she always talks about her money, her investment, okay, and we never talk about the husband, okay. I recently met the spouse also, and I realized something which was very funny, okay. She was like, this is my money because I am earning this, because as such, I'm not expected to earn, but still because I am earning, this is my money, so I'm going to splurge all of it or invest it only for my personal goals, okay. Now, this coming from an educated woman was very funny for me, because it's not that, who told you that you're not expected to earn? Okay, it is something which you have thought about it yourself, that this is not my job that way. So I feel that if we as women only change our own mindset,
Yeah.
then nothing can stop us.
Yeah, true. So the mindset either restricts you or pushes you forward. You're right.
Exactly. So if, because I don't think this is rocket science. If we can fly planes and rockets and run the country, why can't we just manage our own money? And in fact, we are managing our household finances, right? Everybody gets some allowance from the husband to manage the house, from which you're looking care of your grocery, you're saving something, you're also keeping some emergency buffer. So it's not that difficult. It's just that a little bit of leap of faith, trust, just show your spouse that you want to be included in this, and take a little interest. I think it is possible.
Excellent. At what age should one start getting their children involved?
So my daughter is 12. I have started getting her involved when she was 8. Okay. I think we all know that Warren Buffett started investing at the age of 11. So I don't think there is something like age. Also, because in today's time and age, these children make big decisions. It was not the case, when we were young. Okay, they know that at a very young age, they know that they want to, pursue what career, or they want to go abroad to study, and all these things involve a lot of money, right? So I think you start as early as you can. Small things can be done. So like I can give you an example, the way I started with my daughter. From whatever money she used to get from us, like we get allowances during Diwali and, birthday. So basically in all these festivals, when you get some money, okay, that used to go into a piggy bank. Okay, so the first thing that was started was to help her understand that this is saving. Okay, now all that money, it can be as low as 500 rupees, it goes into a mutual fund. Okay, and then to encourage and show her that this is for a goal. Okay, she's going to be getting this money only when she is, in the 8th grade, which is going to be next year, to buy her own mobile phone. So I'm not helping her just save, I'm helping her invest and also do goal planning over there.
Got it.
So that is a very small thing, and there can be many other ways. Everybody can have very different ways depending on, the age of your child. But I don't think there is an age. The earlier you start, it's better. And in fact, now even schools have this mandate from the education board. So a lot of schools are now, calling external speakers, and they are doing some sessions like this on banking and finance that way.
Got it. Your mom would be quite proud of the way you have passed on your knowledge to your daughter.
Yeah. So, but how the way it happens, okay? Like, people expect, that because I am into this industry, my daughter would get into that industry, or she would have more knowledge about finance, but she's a very creative person. So,
And your husband, is he very involved in the finances?
yeah. So actually, my husband is from the same industry.
Okay.
Okay, he's not working with me. He works with another firm. But yes, because we are from finance, we are equally involved.
Okay. Binoli, it was so good talking to you, and I sincerely mean it. I enjoyed chatting with you today.
Same,
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me here. And I think at the end of this, even if we can convince one woman to take that plunge, our job is done.
Yeah, true. Thank you for watching. This is Larissa Fernand, and this is the Laxmi for Laxmi initiative by HDFC Mutual Fund.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.